of them, even though it's okay if they go kind of back and forth, I'd rather them kind of separate their energy out, because see how strong that connection was. And I want you to be able to have the same thing. Okay? Good. You have some of his items as well? Do you have one? He keeps saying one, 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 one. That's I know. It's okay. If he shows me the picture, that's fine. So you have one item? Perfect. When they make me feel like I want to place something in my hand, that's I know you have something of theirs. And so I always say, okay, she has your items. And then if it's less than that, they'll put up one or they'll put up 2 fingers, like earlier when I was reading, okay? And then he said one. So you have one of his items? Wonderful. So if he shows me that's okay. Just his way of acknowledging that you have it, he knows about it, and that you keep it in his honor. Do you understand? Good. I'm being told I just have a couple of minutes with him because his energy's getting low. So I'm going to get anything out of him that I can. He's saying to me he passed to the chest, and that the heart attack was quick. Do you understand? Good. Do you feel like he was taken away from you before you expected? Okay, because he keeps saying to me, my daughter feels like I was taken away and she didn't expect it. Not the way that it happened. Do you understand? Okay. Do you understand why he keeps talking about the marriage? Okay. What's with the marriage, honey? Because he keeps saying, I'm trying to listen. Okay, I'm going to leave it for a minute, okay? Okay. Are you still married? Because he keeps saying still, so that's how I know. Okay. You're happy? Because he's saying happy. But sometimes when they say we need to talk about the marriage, it could be because you're getting ready to go through a separation, you're getting ready to go to a divorce. So if they say happy to me, that's how I know you're happy. Do you understand? Okay. He keeps saying to me he was there with you that day. Okay? But he makes me want to talk about it for some reason, so I'm going to leave it for a minute until he starts to explain it. You celebrated with him that day? He's saying to me he was there. I'm going to leave it for just a moment, okay? It's with him being there but not being there. He's like, I was there but I wasn't. Okay, perfect. Sometimes they can still be here because it's not about in spirit or here. He keeps saying to me, talk about the wedding, and then I was there, but I wasn't. That's why he kept saying he was there, and then I had to wait for the rest of it. Because our loved one can actually be here, and it's something they wish they would have done, but they didn't. So they're there with you in spirit, wishing you well, but they're not actually attending. He's saying to me it's something that he always had a hard time with. Do you understand? Did he not go because of financial reasons? Because he just showed me a fan of money, and he said, that's one mistake that I can say I made, because it shouldn't have mattered and I should have been there for my daughter. Do you understand it? Somebody else walk you down the aisle? Because he's saying to me, that was my position. Do you understand? Because sometimes what they'll do is they'll talk about things that happened before because there's that regret. That's why he kept saying to me, I was there but I wasn't. Because his heart was with you and he was with you in spirit. Do you understand it? Even though he was still here on this earth plane. Do you know what I mean? When the marriage happened, does that make sense to you? Good. But he shows me the fan of money because he couldn't financially be there. So he's still there with you in heart and spirit, but he wasn't there physically. Okay. Do you have a hard time with that? I'm just asking. Because he keeps saying to me he had a hard time with that. Okay. Good. He just keeps saying to me it's something he wishes he could have shared with you. Do you understand? Was there some kind of video or pictures? Because I'm seeing flashing, and he keeps saying to me, I still got to watch it. Do you understand it? Huh? And then, and then he got to watch it? As I see the flashing, and he keeps saying to me, I still got to watch it. Good, so that's the video. Because otherwise he would have me looking at pictures and say, I got to see the pictures. Do Did you feel like there were words left unspoken between the two of you? Because he said to me, today needs to be about her knowing some of the things that I wish I could have done in her life, and some of the ways that I wish I could have been there for her and I wasn't. And I feel like that's why he wanted to show me that, because he kept saying, talk about the marriage first. But then he also makes me feel like you didn't really have a chance to express words to him the way you wanted to understand it. So was he taken really quickly from you, and it was unexpected, and there's not really a full goodbye? Good. That's what it's about, okay? So he says, now is our chance. But he's saying to me, since he passed, that you've been talking those words to him. And he said to me, she talks to me all the time, and she always says the things that she wishes she could have said, and she needs to know that I've been listening. That's what he's saying to me. Okay? All right, what else do you want to say? Are you his only daughter? I'm just asking. Because he keeps saying to me, children, children. There's other children as well? Okay. It just means that you're the only daughter here, because I heard only daughter, and then I kept getting children, 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 meaning you're only daughter here, but the message goes to other children as well. Do you understand it? That just means that there's the message for you, and then he wants them to know that he's at peace and that he's sending love as well, and that if he gives me any other further validation or message after he talks to you, then that'll be something that you can pass to them, okay? He keeps saying to me, she's not the only one I left behind. She's not my only child. My guide said I was getting the only one because you're the only one here. Tell her how much she means to me. I've never, ever had a man say this before, and I'm just going to repeat his words. But he just said to me, the stars do not shine as bright as her eyes. That's what he said. He's saying to me that he sees hope in you. And that even though it's been hard since his passing, that he's hearing those words. And as you start to continue to talk to him through all this, and you're able to say the goodbyes that you feel you didn't have a chance to say, that the more you have that communication with him, where you just feel like you're talking to him and you feel like he's listening, he says he feels hope in your words. Do you understand it? Okay. Do you feel like it's gotten a little easier on you with just talking to him because you feel like he's there? That's what that's about. Okay? So I just had to listen to his words with it. He just said to me it didn't take long for me to go. He's talking about the quickness of it. He's saying they kept him from feeling everything he should have felt. That's how I know there wasn't a lot of suffering with it as well. As far as, because before, whoever it was that was reading before, where the heart attack and I could feel the pain, and it was like quick, I felt it. With him, I feel just a little bit, and I feel the protection. That's how I know that his soul was released so quick in the moment, as far as when the last breath was taken, and that when that hit, they protected him from feeling everything he could have felt. And a lot of it has to do with how quick the soul was released. Do you understand? Okay, good. So he's saying to me that he needed you to know that he didn't feel everything he could have felt. Good. Children, children, children. You have children? So he says, children, children, meaning that there's more children than you. And then I feel like I want to start stepping down. And he makes me feel like I want to look at a grandchild or grandchildren. Do you understand? Do your siblings have children as well? That's the children. Children, grandchildren. Perfect. It's not just my children I watch over, it's my grandchildren as well. Good. That's why he was making me feel I needed to step down. I have one more minute with him. They're saying to me he's loose in his energy. That's why he started to slow down in the past couple things he said. So I'm asking him what he feels he wants to say that's most important. Because I want him to be able to give anything he can before he loses his energy. Because I want him to be able to have the time with you. Tell her I just want her to be happy. I always thought I would live longer than I did. And you never know when it's going to be your time. Meaning when God calls you back home. Okay? Tell her I see all the things that are wonderful in her life. And I want her to just enjoy her life. And live every day the way that she can. I want her to be happy. I'm glad all the children are healthy. Do you understand it? Good. And I feel like the grandchildren as well. Who's the one with the asthma? Who has asthma, honey? I feel like there's some kind of breathing complication. What is it? Okay, that's it. When they cut my breath off, and I know there's a breathing complication, it can be asthma, emphysema, there's a ton of different things. I just feel like my breath is taken away, and I feel like I want to use an inhaler. But sometimes they'll give me that because they do it on and off again, even with the emphysema. Do you understand it? She does that? Okay, perfect. It's just the way he passed it to me, because I felt like I wanted to do this with the inhaler, and my breath is being taken away. That's usually asthma. But it's just because of the way that he had to deliver it to me, because of what's set in, and then because she's doing that as far as, she's really suffering with us right now. Yeah, he keeps saying to me, I want my daughter to know that I see what's going on with her. And my daughter's worried about her as well because it's getting worse. Do you understand it? Okay. I just wanted to give her some kind of comfort from where I am, that we all watch over the whole family, and that I needed her to tell. I feel like it's this message to your siblings. I love all of them. And I see what's going on with her as well, meaning your mom. Okay. Were they still tied before he passed? Because he's showing me the gold wedding rings. Now I can have a spouse that's still worried about a spouse that's here because there's health complications, but they'll turn them black and separate them if there's a separation and divorce. He makes me feel the tie to her energy. I see the gold wedding rings, and that's how I know they're still tied. So he keeps saying to me that he sees what's going on with her health, and he makes me feel like he's there and he's always watching over her. That's why I felt my breath was cut off, and I felt like I wanted to do this with the inhaler. Okay, good. And he keeps saying to me, tell my wife, because he still feels like they're tied. And he's saying to me, in her heart, she feels the same. And she has not moved on. Because he's saying to me, she still feels like I'm the one and only, and I'm okay with that. But if she ever decides to love someone else, that's okay too. But he makes me feel like she'll never choose that. Do you understand it? Good. Tell her I know what's going on with her, and let her know that I see what she's going through, and that I love her. And I love you. Tell everyone else that I'm at peace, and that I love them. And I'm going to do everything I can to watch over all of you and all the grandchildren. And I just feel like I want to start looking at all these children and picking them up, so I know some of them are pretty young. Okay. Your mom know you're coming today? Because all he keeps saying to me is, make sure my daughter gives that message. Okay, so that can be one of two things. All he said to me was, make sure my daughter gives that message. So it's just me asking, because I feel like she's going to be surprised but not, and that could mean that she saw and then is waiting, or she's going to be surprised that you came but not surprised at what he's saying as far as the validation of the watch over, because it could be that at home she's saying, this is what I'm going through, please help me. Do you understand? Because I feel like surprised and not. Perfect, good. And I know that you'll understand it after you leave, but I feel like it has to do with, she's not going to be surprised at what he said, but she's going to be surprised that you had a chance to talk to him. Good. All right, he's pulling his energy back. He's waving to me. He just said, thank you for I've never had anyone say this before. Thank you for taking the time to care about my daughter the way I do. It means a lot for me to be able to talk to her, even if it's just one word. Let her know that I love her. Tell the rest of the family I said hi. And he just keeps saying to me, who just had the birthday in November? It's just a recent birthday. Means it's under 3 months. Okay. Did the birthday just pass? Is it coming? All right, hold on a minute. Nope, he keeps saying recent birthday. And he keeps giving me 11. Oh, you know what? 1 and 1. There's 2 birthdays. Okay, that's what it is. Good, good, good. I kept seeing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I was taking it as 11 for November. But my guide said he's trying to validate 2 recent birthdays. Who's the one coming up? 2 birthdays. I'm asking him if it's the one in September. He just said no. He's validating the next 2. The next 2. 1 and 1. What is that? Yep. Primary. Primary balloons. 2 birthdays coming. I'm going to leave it because he's not giving me names. Usually they'll give me a date. I just kept seeing the 11. I just keep seeing the 11, so that's okay. And it could just be I was seeing the L's in her name. That might be it. Might be him trying to spell her name. It looked like 11 and I was seeing the L's. It's just because when they go to pull their energy out and it's like his last effort to try to give me something, instead of reading it 100%, I'm seeing it at like 30. And all I kept seeing was 1, 1, and I feel like I'm passing balloons. And this is your daughter's birthday that's coming up, and her name is Allie. So it could have been I was seeing the L's and he was trying to spell her name out because he couldn't say it to me anymore. Because he's gone, I lost him. That's probably what it was. I'm gonna ask my guides, and then I'll let you know at the end, because I'll ask them if that's what I was seeing, and I just couldn't get all of it. Yeah, because it looked like 11, and that's usually them trying to say November. But if her name is A-L-L-Y, could be he was trying to spell it for me, and I could only see the 2 L's. So that's probably what it was. I just felt the balloons. And I knew that he was trying to say happy birthday. Right. They make me feel like I'm coming back in this corner over here. They're saying to me, we have just a few more minutes, so I want to try to get to anybody that I can.